Hey guys, so in this video I wanted to essentially address something with technique on the deadlift in particular, because this is something that I find that I'm telling my clients quite frequently to work on and pay attention, and this is in particular with sumo deadlifts, but also does apply to conventional deadlifters. And basically, so this all comes back to basically the main principle that when we are deadlifting, we need to hinge to the bar, which is basically going to be setting our hips. That's also referred to as wedging. And we need to drive through our midfoot, and we also need to keep our shoulders over the bar in order to get the weight moving off the floor. Now, however, it's really easy for me to say that, but it's harder to do this, like, in actuality, because this is the main thing that most people do struggle with. Usually what happens is that people will tend to have an issue with keeping their center of mass as they are wedging into the bar. And this is essentially because when you do tend to wedge into the bar and basically set your hips, there's going to be some forward momentum transfer, and basically that's going to result in lots of times people over biasing their pressure onto their forefoot and not having enough onto their heels. And what that's going to basically result is having your body be way too far over the barbell. You're going to have a harder time actually keeping that center of mass and actually being able to pull through with the deadlift most efficiently. So a cue that I have been telling my lifters quite frequently is to think of, one, having heavy legs, in particular, because the deadlift is first and foremost, like, it's getting moved by your legs. Your lats act isometrically to stabilize the barbell and keep it close to your center of mass, basically. But what really gets the bar moving is primarily going to be your legs. And so keeping those legs heavy, and this applies on both a conventional and a sumo deadlift, but is in particular even more important on the sumo deadlift, because that's just how it is. It's a little bit more feet abduction. So you're going to have rely a little bit more on your legs a little bit more, and in that case, you're also going to be a little more upright instead of being as bent over as you are in a conventional deadlift in most cases. And then along with the heavy legs, thinking about having your heels heavy and really driving down into the floor with your heels. And this is basically going to allow you to do is results in way less chance of having your center of gravity be too far pitched over your toes, essentially. And if you can remind yourself of sort of keeping your center of mass as you do sort of go and you do wedge into the bar, because there will be some forward momentum, to bias having a little more of that towards your heels, you're going to find that your center of mass is a lot better maintained. You're going to be able to have much more good time essentially using your legs and your back properly, because you're going to be essentially doing exactly what I said in the beginning, hinging, driving through your midfoot, and then keeping your shoulders over the bar in a much better manner for your body to move synchronously. So in this next clip, I'm going to kind of show like me doing this in the gym and sort of like what it looks like in practice. So hopefully this is helpful. Really biasing a lot of your foot pressure to being right on your heels. And one of the cues I really like is basically having heavy heels and heavy legs. So what that means is essentially when I'm setting up, I get in this spot, instead of a lot of people will start over like this and put too much weight on their front foot. And what that's going to do is essentially when you get off the floor, you're going to get a really bad spot. You're going to see basically like a conventional deadlift to get up. What you want to do when you're setting up is really bias towards having heavy heavy legs and having heavy heels. What that looks like when you're going to wedge into the bar, as you go down into the floor and apply some forward pressure, you wedge back and the pressure and drive through your heels lock out. So if you look at how my weight goes, you'll kind of see I bias a little more towards right here. That as soon as the bar starts moving and I wedge myself into the bar, the weight's going to shift more back onto my heels. So that it looks like this. So when you're setting up for your solo deadlifts, let's really think of those two cues. Having your legs feel heavy, and particularly putting most of the weight onto your heels as soon as you get the bar off the ground. You should have this transfer to put the majority of your back foot off the floor.